My project is using mindfulness to reduce stress in autistic college students. College is stressful. Students face novel environments and experiences, increased academic, financial, and social pressures, and the stress is compounded for autistic college students who experience higher rates of mental health issues, internalized stigma, and disability-related barriers, including social isolation. This stress negatively impacts their executive function and decision-making. It further limits their productivity and achievement, and ultimately can result in a lack of retention and degree completion for autistic college students. The evidence-based intervention used in this project to address the identified problem was mindfulness, which has been shown to increase overall well-being. KORU mindfulness was developed by Duke University. It's a brief mindfulness intervention that teaches a variety of mindfulness skills. It allows students to decide what works best for them. KORU's instruction is clear and logical, and the program is highly structured, which makes it a really good fit for autistic college students, particularly. This research took place at Rochester Institute of Technology, a large technology-focused university in upstate New York, as part of the services provided by the Spectrum Support Program, which is a specialized program that provides one-on-one coaching to RIT's autistic student population. Using the concepts of implementation science, the goal was to create behavior change in order to facilitate the successful utilization of KORU mindfulness. Key findings related to the use of KORU for reducing stress. Stress was measured, by the way, by a 10-item perceived stress scale. And what we found, as you can see on the slide, is that the stress scores for students who use mindfulness moved in the direction that we had hoped, from a median score of 17 at baseline down to 14.5 after the intervention, while the group who did not use mindfulness showed a statistically significant increase in their stress scores over time. When we look at the small group of students who continued mindfulness practice using VR headsets for an additional 6 weeks, while the control group stress scores continued to rise over the semester. While the differences in the scores were not statistically significant, this was likely based on the small sample size. I do consider the results to be clinically significant, however, based on what we know about how increasing stress impacts student success. There were a few adaptations. The most significant one was that we taught KORU through a remote format, and that was due to continued concerns about how COVID might impact implementation. There is no research currently that looks at remote facilitation of KORU, so it's unclear how that adaptation impacted fidelity. Mindfulness can help autistic college students control stress, especially during critical times of the semester. Students found VR engaging and an effective way to practice mindfulness, but autistic students also really benefit from support and structure when learning and practicing mindfulness, which was lacking during the VR portion. And those that support students in the use of mindfulness, in this case, our coaches, need to have a good working knowledge of the intervention, including the tools and the resources. In terms of next steps, KORU requires a trained facilitator, so it is resource dependent. So we're looking for funding from donators that would be needed to continue or expand. There could be some options to further reduce the time required to learn KORU, so we may consider focusing on teaching fewer skills or teaching over a longer period of time. I am looking at publishing this research in the Autism in Adulthood journal. There's a large research gap in related to autistic college students. And I also want to work with our wellness department to explore whether we could use KORU as a course option for our wellness courses that students are required to take. And we're also looking for other ways to use VR, the headsets that we purchased for this project.